guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me Muhammad Hassnain and welcome back to another video. So in our today's video, we are going to discuss about matter and the three states of matter. So firstly, what is matter? So matter is everything around us. Everything we see around is made up of matter. Matter consists of particles and there are three states of matter. The three states of matter are solid, liquid and gas. Solids are solid objects. An example of solids are table, chair, mobile, etc. So all the three types of matter has different particle arrangement, means how particles are arranged in them. So the particles in solid are very tightly packed together. There is absolutely no space between the particles as the particles are very close together and they are tightly packed. They can't move separately. Solids are hard and may be compressed. The particles in solid vibrate very slowly as they are very tightly and closely packed. The solid particles do not move freely around each other, nor they are totally still, but they are vibrating very slowly. Next is liquid. So liquids are objects in form of water. In watery shape, the objects are liquids. If we talk about the particle arrangement of liquids, then unlike solids, they are not very tightly packed. They slightly move around each other freely. So the particles in liquid do not vibrate very slowly nor very fastly. They vibrate at a medium speed. Liquids cannot be compressed as they are in water form. So liquids take shape of the container. For example, if you pour a liquid in a cup or in any object, it will take the shape of that object. Liquids can't be compressed. Instead, they take shape of the container. And solids do not take shape of the container, they are solid objects. Example of liquids are milk, juice, tea, water. So the particles in liquid slide past each other and they move slightly freely. So next are gases. Some gases are visible while others are invisible. If we talk about the particles arrangement in gases, then the particles move very freely around. So the particles move freely here and there around and they are vibrating very fast. So the particles move here and there in a very fast speed. Example of gases are helium, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Gases can be compressed and they can be filled into something. So this was about solid, liquid and gases and their particles arrangement. Now let's talk about change of states. So matter can be changed, means something can change its states. For example, a solid can be turned into a liquid can be turned into a solid, a liquid can be turned into a gas and similarly vice versa. Change of states can be done by either giving heat to the object or by reducing the temperature. Let's talk about the state changes in different matters.
So this is the change of state triangle, which shows that the names of the different changes of state. So when a solid turns into a liquid, it is known as melting, and when a liquid turns back to solid, it is known as freezing. When a liquid turns to gas, it is known as evaporation, and when it turns back to liquid, it is known as condensation. And when a solid directly turns into a gas, it is known as sublimation, and when the gas turns back to the solid, it is known as deposition.
Firstly, let's talk about the change of state from solid to liquid and from liquid to solid. So the change of state from a solid to liquid is known as melting. When heat is given, the solid particles move very fast and then they turn into liquid, means they vibrate faster. The particles start to vibrate faster and then they melt into the liquid. For example, if you place an ice cube out in the sun, the ice cube will start to melt. So the state change from solid to liquid is known as melting. And water has a specific melting point and many other solids also have a specific melting point. Water has a melting point of 0 degrees Celsius. Another example is butter. Butter is a solid and when you heat it on a pan, the particles vibrate faster and it melts. Now let's talk about the opposite, from uh, liquid to solid. So the change of state from liquid to solid is known as freezing. For example, when you put water in the freezer, the water freezes. The freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, like the melting point. So what is melting and freezing point? So melting and freezing points are the temperature they are the point at which the water melts or freezes. So in freezing, the liquid particles move to cool down. They start to cool down, they start to vibrate slower, which turns them into a solid. So this was melting and freezing, solid to liquid and liquid to solid. Now let's talk about liquid to gas and gas to liquid. So firstly, liquid to gas. So when a liquid turns into a gas, it is known as evaporation. Evaporation is when a liquid is heated or it is given heat and then it turns into a gas. So the liquid particles move to vibrate very faster and then they evaporate into the gas. If you notice that you place some water under the sun or even when it rains, the water puddles form on the road. So after some time, the water puddles suddenly disappear. So why does this happen? So basically this is evaporation. The liquid in the water puddle starts to gain heat because of the extreme sunlight from the sun, and then the particles move faster and then they evaporate, means they turn into gas. So this was evaporation. Now let's talk about gas to liquid, which is known as condensation. So when a gas turns back into a liquid, it condenses. So let me give you an example of condensation. When you put a can of soda into the freezer, when you take it out, you will see that there are many water droplets on the can.
Let me explain you that why the water droplets form on the soda can when it is taken out from the freezer. So the soda can surrounds with humid air and water vapor. So when this water vapor, means the gas, touches the cold surface of the soda, it condenses and it turns back into liquid form, which forms the water droplets. So basically the water vapor touches the cold surface, because of which the water droplets form and condensation takes place. Another example of condensation is fog on the bathroom mirror after a hot shower is taken. So you might notice that there is a fog on the mirror whenever a hot shower is taken. So this is because that there is some water vapor which is coming from the hot shower and the surface of the mirror is cold. So when the water vapor from the hot shower touches with the cold surface of the mirror, it causes the fog on the mirror. If you touch the fog, then you might notice that it is basically water. So basically the water vapor has now condensed and turned into the water.
So this was condensation and evaporation. So now let's talk about solid to gas directly and gas back to solid. So firstly, sublimation. Sublimation is the change of state from a solid to gas. Sublimation occurs when a solid is heated enough and it is directly turned into gas bypassing the liquid phase. This happens when the solid is heated above its sublimation point, which converts it directly to the gas without converting it to the liquid phase. Example is dye sublimation printing. This is when the
Solid ink
of a printer is heated and it is directly converted into gas, which converts it to paper and cloth without going into the liquid state. Now let's talk about the change of state from gas directly to a solid without passing the liquid phase. This change of state from gas to solid is known as deposition. Deposition is the process when a gas substance directly turns into a solid substance without bypassing the liquid phase. For example, water vapor in the air, which is gas, which is heated liquid in the air, can directly turn into ice, such as when frost form on cold surfaces. For example, in your fridges, you can notice that there is some ice which is forming on the surface, which is known as frost. So the frost is an example of deposition which has converted the gas directly into a solid.
So let me tell you another thing about the changes of state. So as you can see in this diagram that as the color goes to the red, it turns to the gas stage. So we can also see from the particles arrangement that the solid are tightly packed, then the liquid gets a little bit loose, and gas are totally loose and free apart. So as the state of matter, this is the order: solid, liquid, then gas. In this triangle also, as the substance changes to another state, it will get heated, and when it comes back to the original state, it will get low temperature. For example, from solid to liquid, when the state changes from solid to liquid, it's melting. Means we give temperature to the solid, then it turns to liquid. While when it is back to solid from liquid, it is freezing. Means we lower the temperature, then it turns back to solid. Similarly, in liquid to gas, means evaporation is also that we give heat. The heat is given, so it turns into gas. And when the heat is not given, the water vapor touches cold surfaces, means low temperature, it turns back to liquid. And the same is in the case of sublimation and deposition.
So this was all about matter, the three states of matter, and how matter changes its states. I hope so that you find this video fun and interesting. If you did so, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe my channel for further videos, and also share this video with your family and friends. Thanks for watching.